the creator economy. Now, that word's been thrown around more and more.
Sure.
And it is really trying to focus, I think, on the artist side of things versus the marketing side of things.
Yeah.
What's your best explanation of the creator economy? Like, what's your definition of it? So for people listening who aren't sort of too familiar with that concept, and I can give some examples after this as well, but what's your perception of the creator economy?
Yeah, right. So if I was like, I don't know, at the bank or something, and the teller's like, "What's the creator economy?" I'd be like, "Oh, like people who like blog and podcast and have newsletters and YouTube and Instagram. Those people do stuff and they make money off of the things that they make. That's what I would say." I think philosophically, the creator economy is emerging because the creator economy will soon be the economy. That in many ways the future belongs to the people who make things, and that's always been true, but it's becoming more mainstream now. Meaning, it was only a matter of time before things went from who's the guy who owns the factory, he's the guy in charge, to the person making the thing. But the person in the assembly line, in the early 20th century, wasn't anything. They were a cog in the system. But now technology has made it possible for me to own my own factory. It's a computer. Like, I literally have a way to make anything that I want and immediately share it with the world. So I don't need a factory. I don't need a boss. I don't even need channels of distribution. I have it all. So the people who make things now have direct access to the people who want those things. And so we are like just in like version 1.0 or 0.1 or something, like super early on in what's going to happen in the future with the people who make things and connect them with the world. But right now, the creator economy means artists, makers, creative people who want to make things and share them on the internet, and they're building audiences and businesses around that attention.
Yeah, well, the shift kind of happened that all of those artists and creators were getting commissioned by brands, and then it was getting released by brands, whereas now it's kind of direct to consumer.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, like, you don't need a boss, you don't need a factory, you don't need, I don't know, some big shot saying, "I will give you exposure." You can create your own exposure now quite easily. And as we mentioned before, like, you've got a bunch of these artists now helping each other. They have created their own economy. They've created their own little system where enough people are paying attention to enough individuals that they can kind of share the wealth, as it were, and help one another. And that's how economies grow, is it just keeps growing. You're not just sharing limited resources with each other because you're bringing more attention to the thing. The whole thing becomes much larger. And I do think that, we're talking about Web 3.0 now. Next 30 or so years, there aren't going to be jobs. That there are going to be fewer and fewer people who just do one thing for somebody else. And if you want, you will have the opportunity to make whatever it is that you make, share it with the world, and you'll be in charge if you want. And if you don't want to do that, you will likely get left behind or relegated to a certain part of society that's behind the curve.
Interesting. And so, most of the people you work with, I think it's probably they're generating their revenue from books and those sorts of things. Those artists and creators are doing it that way. What's your take on these new types of monetization for artists, like paid memberships, paid newsletters, paid groups, all this sort of stuff? Are you kind of thinking about that as a new way to, deliver something to the audience? Or are you still kind of, focused on the book side of things and like publishing once and then distributing a lot, versus a lot of those other channels are like, you got to constantly be creating content?
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's a, if we go back to what always works, a membership is fine. A club is fine. Certainly, there have always been people willing to pay significant sums of money to be a part of a group of people. Um, I agree with what Stuart Brand said back in the 60s or 70s. Information wants to be free. So if your game is to sell information, good luck, right? Music, books, videos, all these things are practically free now or very, very cheap and only getting cheaper because technology makes information, um, easy to move around. Uh, what has always been true is people will pay money for services and products. Um, and I think the maturity of the creator economy, and I'm just pontificating here, I don't know, but I think the maturity of it will be moving into products. So I don't think I think books are stronger than they've ever been. Now there's more books being published, the competition is higher. A book is not information, a book is a product. And we have emotional experiences with products, right? They're not just a product is just not just a means of I don't know, rendering a service, filling a need. Obviously, I mean, like in many ways, we saw this was true with Apple going from being almost a company that was dead to becoming eventually the largest company in the world. And it was because they paid attention to the aesthetics, because they wanted to create products that people had an emotional relationship with, right? I mean, this is my wallet. It's an okay wallet, but it has my initials on it, right? I mean, it's something personal, right? And so you need a market. You need a market to sell somebody something, but the real long play, if you're a creator, is to find a way to create stuff and services work too, but find a way to create stuff that people will always want and that you can make your own. You can make it into your own unique, interesting thing. The problem with the creator economy right now is creators are trying to be brands, and that is a bad idea. You are not a brand. You need to create a brand that produces goods and services that people want. Or you can do what artists have always done and go, here are my services for the world. Who wants to hire me? Who wants to, you know, commission me to do something? That's fine. But this whole idea that you're going to create your own little club and people are going to pay you money for your stuff, I think it's fine. It's going to work for a while and it's going to die out, or get, super niched down. It's fine. It's not the best way to make stuff. The best way to make stuff, meaning it's not the best way to get paid for the stuff that you're making. Find something, a product that you can create. And it doesn't have to be physical. I mean, a book is a product, an event is a product, but find something that you believe in, that you could spend a good chunk of your life or the next few years obsessing over. Because that is what fuels creators is I got to make something amazing. Be careful that you don't get bogged down with this whole, nonsense about managing an audience. It exists to help you do your work and share it with people. But we tend to get stuck in these, I don't know, cycles of just talking to people about how to be what you are. That's not ultimately that interesting. And you've got to do what you do, and then you've got to find a way to package that into something that is not you, so that if one person buys it or 1 million people buy it, it's the same amount of effort on your part. At least that's the stuff that's interesting to me. I want to be making things, and I want to find a way to make things that fills me up and also is interesting to other people. And that you do something that you love that other people want or need. I mean, that's demand, that's supply and demand. You're going to make money doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think some of the easiest places to get started are, creating a course, creating a PDF, creating a book, something that you can create once, sell many times. That's a really good place to get started. But as you were saying, that's not as unique as you can get. So you got to start getting, once you get that foundation, you got to start getting upping your level in making more and more unique stuff and making better and better stuff, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's not better for you, like different, not better. Better means you doing what only you can do the way that only you can do it. I'm not trying to be the best writer in the world. I'm trying to be me, which is way easier than trying to be the best. It's not to say that I don't want to be good, but good is subjective, right? Your favorite author or artist, somebody else doesn't get. They don't like it, right? I whenever I walk through an art museum, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that I don't get. But some people do. And there's stuff here that I love that other people are like, they walk right past it. I'll stand there for 30 minutes staring at it. Your work is not for everyone. Marketing is the art of helping your work find its proper home. And then once you find those people, 1,000 true fans or however you want to think of it, your job is to now do your best work for those people. That's it.
Hey guys, we put a bunch of effort into making great content for this YouTube channel. So please hit subscribe, leave us a comment, hit like, and tell a few friends about it.